Hey there, grade sevens. Today we are going to be talking about lesson 8.4 of your Math Makes Sense, which is constructing angle bisectors. For this lesson, hopefully you have your compass or your protractor. If you don't stress. What you can actually do is you can actually make a little circle, so you can trace a circle out, cut it out of a piece of paper, and then find the middle, and then just put a hole in it, and that'll help you. So what an angle bisector is when you have some type of an angle. What you're doing is you're actually, so say if this angle was 120 degrees, for example, what you're doing is you're actually cutting it in two, so that each other angle is equal to each other, so that each other angle is going to be 60 degrees. Now, there's certain ways that we can actually do this to make sure that we have the correct angle. So let's get back to our 120 degree angle. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark my corner. Let's say we're going to mark that A. And then making this the center, I'm going to draw a circle around it. Okay, or I'm going to trace a circle around it using my compass, just to make sure that it's a good circle. Now, where my circle intersects with my lines, those are going to be my next 2 points. So let's label this one B, and we'll label this one C. From those 2 points, I'm going to draw 2 more circles that are the same size. Okay, it has to be the same size. So if you had a circle traced out of a piece of paper, and you use that for this A circle, you're going to use it for B. Oops, that was not a very good one. And then you're going to use it for C. Now, where you're going to have it intersect, okay, that is going to be your connection to your angle bisector. So if I erase everything and I just use this angle, or this line, what I'm saying is both of these angles are going to be the same. So if I've got this angle here, and then this angle here, those ones are going to be the same size. All right. So that's our first method that we have for actually calculating the circles. Okay. There's some other ones as well. Okay. I can't do it with this, but if you were to take it and you were to take your piece of paper and you were to fold it, similar to what we had for our perpendicular lines or our perpendicular bisectors, you're to fold it so that these lines are on top of each other. The crease that's going to be made is going to create your angle bisector. Okay. Another way is if you take your protractor, you can do this mathematically. You can measure. You say, okay, it's 150 degrees. Half of 150 degrees is 75. So using your protractor, you measure out where 75 degrees is. That's another way that you can find it out. All right. And then possibly one of the last ways, which I don't think anyone has, I don't know if you remember those mirrors. So you put your mirror basically down in the middle until you see both of the lines line up, and then you can trace your line that way. That would be kind of the last method that I could show you right away to find your angle bisector. So with our project that you're doing, what you're actually going to go do is you're going to add in an angle bisector. Now, there is one exception to an angle bisector, okay, because we already have a name for this one, and this one is a very specific one. When you have a straight line and you cut it in half, that's a perpendicular bisector. So that's the one situation where an angle bisector, it's also an angle bisector technically, but we don't refer to it as an angle bisector because we have another name for it, a perpendicular bisector. So our initial line cannot be, our initial angle cannot be 180 degrees. It has to be smaller or bigger in some cases. So, but like I said, what we're doing is we're cutting that angle in half. So once you've got your first angle, your second, these two have to be the same. Okay, so in your project, you're going to be adding an angle bisector. You might already have a 90-degree angle. You might cut it in half, so you'll have 45, 45. You might create 2 more lines so that you can have your proper angle bisector. It's up to you, but you just have to add one. Just add one, and then you're going to be able ready to submit your task for the next week. And this is it. This is it for all of our lines and stuff like that. So what we're actually going to be moving into next is Cartesian planes. So we're going to be finishing off the rest of Chapter 8, and then we're going to go back to Chapter 7. So make sure that you're doing your math make sense. You're submitting that to Google Classroom. Make sure you complete the Google form. And then if you have any questions at all, you can send me a Hangout message, an email, or ask me during our Zoom sessions. All right, have a great day.